Okay friends, we're going to be making this cute card today. I'll show you a couple of alternative ways to go about it. It's using the Picture This dies, which creates these great little circle windows in the front, and of course the Penguin Place stamp set. You'll find the Penguin Place stamp set in our new mini catalogue being released on the 3rd of August 2021. It does have a matching punch to punch out your penguins, it's a penguin builder punch because it's got several pieces that you can build your penguins with. So let's get to it. It's a really fun little set, and you could use this card for a kid's card or any kind of occasion. I've used mine to be a Christmas card, but you really could use it for birthdays or anything else. And in fact, the greetings in the set aren't just Christmas greeting. There is a happy birthday, there's season's greetings, and then there's just a couple of like friendship type of ones, and even lots of thanks. So you can use a variety of different occasions with this set. So let's move this to one side. These are the pieces we're going to need for the card, the basics of the card. I'm using a piece of Pool Party. This is half a sheet of A4 that I've cut in half, and I'm going to fold that in half again to make my card base. So I'm just going to fold that over, use bone folder to make it sit nice and flat, and let's pop that out of the way. Let's move our catalogue too. Now I've got here 2 pieces of paper. You could use any designer series paper you like. The one that I've used here is the Pattern Party designer series paper. This is actually a host gift. If you're putting in an order that's big enough, you can actually order this and get it for free, or you can even host with a group of people, either an online party, or if you're in a part of the world that is not currently locked down, you might even be able to do an in-person party. But it's a cute paper. You can see it's black and white on one side, and I've got Pool Party and white on the other, but you can use any paper you like. This is actually going to be my card front. So you can see I'm doing this in metric sizing, and this piece of paper is 10 centimeters wide and 14.3 long, okay, and it fits right there on the front with a little bit of a border around on my card base that I've already cut and folded. However, I've also got a piece of white here, and it is roughly the same size, but if you have a little look here, you'll see I've actually measured this so it's ever so slightly smaller than the other piece. You can just see the border around, and the reason why is because I want to glue this white piece down, and I want to be making sure that it doesn't poke out from behind. So I've measured my white piece behind to be 2 millimeters less on either side, so it's 2 millimeters shorter and 2 millimeters less wide. So that piece goes like that. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using my Picture This dies to cut the circles or the windows in my piece. And you see here there's a couple of different dies that this does. It has these rectangle windows that have the stitching around the outside, and also the circle ones with the stitching. So this is going to go straight onto here just like this. I'm going to center that. I'm going to run it through my cut and emboss machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see that this die has cut the windows. Of course, it does the other thing, which is it punches out all the or cuts out all the circles as well, which you can then use on a different project if you would like. So we've got something that cuts lots of circles all in one pass, but it also makes these great windows. So I'll pop these away. And I've got my piece here ready to go. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center my white piece here so that it's exactly centered on the Pool Party piece, and I'm literally going to glue that straight down. You could use whatever adhesive you like to do this. So I'm just going to use Tombow, but you can use seal, you can use tape, whatever floats your boat you can use. And then let me pop that straight down so it's centered on that Pool Party piece. So I want to have the same amount at the top and the bottom. And the good thing about using Tombow is you can kind of move it into place. All right, that's ready to go. Now this piece is going to go over the top, all right, and it's going to hide those white edges because it's ever so slightly larger than the white piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the penguins that go in here. Now we can stamp our penguins, but if you have the punch, you actually get a really great result by punching them, and I think it's easier too. So I've got a piece of white and a piece of black cardstock, and I want the outline or the bigger piece to be black and the smaller piece inside to be white. So I'm going to start, you could do both straight on here, but then that's kind of a little bit wasteful. So I'm just going to put it so it's just over the edge here, so that my black piece is here. And then I'm going to go to the other corner and do my white piece. Now I need to do that twice because I need 2 penguins. As you might see in my original card, we've got one up here and one here. So we have 2. So let's do that again. And I'm going to do my white, and I'm going to do my black. All right, so now I have 2 penguins. They're super easy to put together. Let's just pop them here on the table. Move this out of the way for a moment. So here they are. And I'm simply going to grab some glue, whatever glue you like. I find Tombow probably the easiest. And I'm just going to position that right here on the top. Look at that. Just like that. And the same with this little guy. Bit of Tombow on the back. And position that one right there like that. Okay, cute. Even without their eyes, they still look cute. All right, now I am going to be using their eyes from the stamp set, but not to give me a finished result. I want to show you something. So you'll see down the bottom here, we have the 2 little eyes. They're just kind of like spots, and you can see where they end up here. So I've already got them on a block, and I'm going to stamp them in black. And I'll do both penguins. The good thing about these is they're already positioned in exactly the right place for you. Oh, I got a mark on that. Never mind. That's my fault, not being careful. And then another one here. So it's kind of up towards the top, all right? But you can just leave them like that. I do also have a nose, a little nose that I'm going to do in pink. You can use whatever color you like, but I thought Blushing Bride works quite well. If you don't want them to be too dark, stamp it off first, and then it goes sort of in the middle, just below the dip there in the white. And I don't want, like I said, I don't want it to be too dark. So there we go. All right, so then they're pretty much ready, but if you want to use googly eyes, and I'm a massive fan of googly eyes, I just think googly eyes make everything cute, then you can use whatever googly eyes you might have. I've got a couple of different sizes in here, and I'm just sort of doing a little test. Do I want big googly eyes, like bigger ones, or do I want really small ones? I think the bigger ones are kind of cute, so I might go with those. There's one there and one there. Now some googly eyes you buy have adhesive backing. I find it easier to use glue dots to attach them because I always struggle to get the backing off and it's just easier to use glue dots. So here we go. We've got our little googly eyes ready to go. And to attach the glue dots, I use my take your pick tool, okay, which I have my brush end nearly always on because I use it for dies a lot, more often than I use the putty end. But the other end here, you've got this pointy tool here, or you can take that out, flip it around, and you've got a flat tool. Now, either of these are going to work to attach glue dots. We don't need it to be particularly sharp, so I'm just going to pick it up here. I'm going to grab my googly eye, and I'm going to stick that right there on the back, and I'm just going to fold it under and make sure that it's not sticking out. And then same again with the other one. Pick up a glue dot. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're using the flat end or the pointy end, they're both going to do the same job. All right, and Now, so this is the difference between the googly eyes and the not googly eyes. I think the googly eyes are just super cute, but it's a personal preference. You can have whichever you like. So let's find another glue dot, because I'm going to do the other one now. And let's pop that right behind there. And because I've got a bit of a mark, I'm actually going to move this down a little bit and cover up the mark. So that's kind of handy. And let's grab another one. Pop that on there. And pop that. So the good thing about using the stamp and then covering up with the googly eyes is it gives you a guide for where your eyes should roughly be. So it helps you position them, which is terrific. Now that I've got my googly eyes on there, I'm ready to put them on. So first of all, I've got a little bit of stamping to do. All right, so I'm going to position this over the top because it's almost exactly the same size, and I'm going to position it right where I want it to be, okay, just like that. And then I'm going to grab a pencil, and you might notice on the first card, see I've got little trees here, okay, and how I positioned the trees was I grabbed a pencil and I put a little mark just inside on the white, just inside the rim of each circle. And so when I take it off, I can see where the top of the circle is. And I want to have my little tree. Here I have the little tree. I'm going to use garden green ink for that. And now I've got these three marks that give me an idea of where my tree should go. Now what I found was, if you look here, if you do it straight on, because my ink pad is very, very new and wet, it's quite dark. So if you want your trees to be lighter, stamp them off and then put the top of the tree right where that mark is, and it's going to fit really, really well in that space. And I think that's a good amount of colour. I think I will actually stamp off each one. And the last one. All right, so I'm putting them where those three marks are. That means now that I've got this, I can put that back into position, and those trees are in the perfect spot. See how that works? All right, so how am I going to do this? I'm going to grab my eraser and I'm going to rub those out. And on the back of here, I'm actually going to add some dimensionals. So I'm going to add dimensionals in the corners, a little bit in from the corner so they can't be seen. And we are going to be using quite a few dimensionals here, but don't worry, it's better to have too many in this situation. All right, along the side here so it doesn't sag. I'm going to have a couple kind of in places where it might sag a little, so I'm going to make sure it doesn't. And maybe even any other spots that you think, yeah, I want to make sure it's got plenty of support in that area. So I'm going to take all the backs off. Now if I had an eraser handy, which I forgot to bring before I started this video, this is the bit where I'd go ahead and take that off. But I don't have that handy, so I'll do that when I'm finished, but you'll see it in the finished result. All right, so now you might notice this is actually two versions of the same card. This one, I stuck the blue and the white together and then put them with dimensionals on the base card. I actually like this better because I like the little bit of shadow created by having the dimensionals between the DSP and the white piece. So I think this looks better. And also it now means that these guys can slide in under here. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pop some glue on the back of the penguins. You don't need a lot of glue. And I'm going to position it so this little guy is just under here. Now you can have him with his head out if you like, or you can push him all the way down, make sure his head is down, and then push him back up again. And using Tombow allows you to do that. Okay, so you can see he's just looking really cute right there. Now let's do the same sort of thing with this one. But having a liquid glue to apply this means that you have a little bit more control. This one is a little bigger, so you can see a little bit more. You can see a bit more of this penguin. That one, not so much, okay? All right, now, one thing I haven't done, I haven't given this little guy his bow tie yet, and I have that piece of white here that I used before. I'm just going to bring that in. I think his bow tie should be red. You can have whatever color you like, but red is a nice, good, strong color. And let me grab the bow tie out of the stamp set. Pop him on a block here. And let's dip this in very, very gently, because it's such a tiny stamp, in our red ink. Cute. And then I'm going to cut him out. Now, some of you would have heard me say this before, because it's something I do like to say. I quite enjoy fussy cutting, or cutting by hand. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but when you do, you can make it easier for yourself by doing a couple of things. First of all, always leave a little gap between where you're cutting and the actual image. See how there's a little white border around? It looks so much better than cutting out directly on the line, and it's more forgiving. The other thing is, when you're moving it, move your paper around corners rather than your scissors, and you'll also get a smoother cut. So that will help you as well. All right, so I've got my little bow tie there. It's so tiny. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to whack a little glue dot on the back of this one. Find myself a glue dot. Pop the bow tie on the glue dot. Give it a squeeze. Take it off. And then that is ready to go. And we're going to give our little guy here a bow tie. How cute is he? And because of the glue dot is in the middle, that means we can pop the ends of the bow tie up so they look a bit 3D, which is rather cute. All right, last thing we need to do is we need to stamp a greeting. If this was a birthday card, I'd stamp a happy birthday or something else in there, but it's not. I'm making it a Christmas card, so I'm going to put my season's greetings in my Memento black ink, and I'm going to stamp that right here up towards the top of this circle. I'm not doing it right in the middle. Now, and that's because I wanted to add a ribbon. But if you were not adding a ribbon, if you were just going to call this a card, if you were going to call it done at this point, then you could certainly put your season's greetings right in the middle of the circle. But instead, I'm actually going to use, when I first made this card, because I've made a few versions of it now, I used white twine, which is quite nice. But today I'm using Pool Party sheer ribbon. I think it's called sheer ribbon, is that correct? Yeah, I think so. But anyway, you get the idea. Yes, sheer ribbon. Pool Party sheer ribbon. And it's in our annual catalogue, this one, but you could use whatever ribbon you like. All right, so I'm making sure that the ends or the loops are small so that it won't overwhelm my card. And I'm going to go back to my glue dots, pop my center of my bow onto the glue dot, give it a squeeze, and then take it off gently. And that is going to position that perfectly. And then I'll grab my my ribbon scissors and just snip off those ends so they're not going too crazy there. And there you go, guys. The card is done. Isn't that super, super cute? I love the picture of these dies. I think they're really handy for cute little window type cards. And I love this new penguin place set. I think it's going to be heaps of fun for Christmas and all around the year, really. So if you love it, don't forget it's on sale from tomorrow, 3rd of August. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the beautiful new things that you are all going to create with this set and all the other lovely sets in our new catalogue. So don't forget, it all goes live tomorrow. If you haven't been on my my channel here before, don't forget to subscribe, and that way you'll get to see when I go live or when I put up new videos, and I hope to be doing that a lot more with this fantastic new catalogue. So I'll see you soon. Bye bye.